little brunch time kick-off between my beloved Liverpool against Olivia's beloved Chelsea.
I can feel the tension here. I can feel the tension.
We don't have a show next week either, so whoever loses, actually, will be a good thing.
Don't worry, you'll hear from me. You'll hear from me. Of course, there's a couple of other big ones. West Ham against Everton is a massive game at the wrong end of the table. And for the neutrals, that game on Sunday afternoon between Arsenal and Manchester United. Oh, yes.
That's a big one, isn't it?
It's a big one. We're looking forward to that.
Feels like a throwback big game.
Yes, we are.
OK, so the weekend's fixtures, that's it. That's what's going to be coming up on that. And
Arsenal, I think that's the only place to start. They're still flying high at the top of the Premier League table. Who would have thought it? Not me.
They're going to win it, man.
Me.
I'm just keeping it real. I said this about Leicester last time, and I was like, they're not going to win it. They're going to win it.
No, but do you know how quickly things turn? So in half-time of the Spurs game, they could have gone 11 points clear if they won their game in hand.
Crazy.
But the next time City play, it could be down to just 2 points.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
It switches up, doesn't it, so quickly?
I know so many Arsenal fans that I pray with everything that I have that they don't win it. But they are looking supreme at the moment. They're playing supreme. And, you know, we're talking celebrations and Arsenal fans celebrating. This is something to look at.
It's so funny.
So look at this. This is what happens on the terraces. Whee!
Well, it's gone flying. It's his realisation that his glasses have come off his face and he's like, where are they? Where are they? He's like, where are they?
From delight to complete horror, innit?
Where are they?
And obviously he needs his glasses to find his glasses.
Yeah.
OK, that result against Spurs last weekend put a smile on at least one of our faces. Io, how was the rest of your weekend?
Yeah, look, honestly, that result against Spurs last weekend was superb. But I've got to say, the result against Manchester City last night from Tottenham was not a good result. I asked them to do one job. And the one job is beat Manchester City, so Arsenal's lead was extended by extra points. They couldn't do that, but inevitably we are still 5 points clear and also a game in hand. Now, I've got two incredible gooners here, Harry and Annabelle, and we're going to be talking about the North London derby to start with. And we'll start with you, Harry. Aaron Ramsdale, what a keeper. What an effort he put in. What a shift he put in. We've finally got a solid keeper between the posts at Arsenal, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. He's making really important saves at really important moments in games. You know, it's a North London derby. The atmosphere is incredible. Well, would have been incredible had Spurs scored a goal. So, you know, when he comes up and makes amazing saves the way he did, and it sort of keeps them at bay, it's really important. And it could be the difference, you know, going forward in terms of earning points and when it really, really matters. So, yeah, he's been brilliant and gives us so much in the build-up as well, the way he plays out from the back. But to see him do what goalkeepers normally do as well just shows you that he's the complete package.
I guess when you look at a defence as well, you start with the keeper really and the confidence he's going to give the men in front of him as well. But I guess this is a very, very young team, right? But this team is also showing a certain maturity and they're grinding out games. They're not losing their heads in games. Look, I don't want to overly big this up, but it is great to see and it's a testament to Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, absolutely. They're showing an emotional maturity at the moment, which is something that I think has been missing at Arsenal. You know, that the ability to kind of make sure that you keep your emotions intact, not get sucked into silly situations, you know, when it comes to refereeing decisions, when it comes to opposition players trying to wind you up, to be able to stay focused on what you're doing makes your decision-making process a lot stronger. And off the back of that, you've seen Arsenal be able to ride sort of difficult periods out in games like there was at the start of the second half, for example, against Spurs, and make sure they come through it with the lead that they had intact.
And of course, we've got a wonderful maestro in Martin Odegaard.
Oh, he's an unbelievable player. He's an unbelievable footballer. And there was a lot of talk last season about maybe, you know, he doesn't contribute enough goals and assists. And although he looks great on the eye and it's really tidy and stuff, that maybe he wasn't making enough of a difference. But this season he's picked that up and it just shows that he needed a bit of time. £35 million now is looking like an absolute steal.
Yeah, Annabelle, let's come to you. Martin Odegaard leading this team. Bukayo Saka, another player that's been so brilliant for us. Our away form, or Arsenal's away form, is just as good as the home form at this moment in time. Only really dropped one game this season. That maturity we were talking about must be fantastic to see from a fan's perspective.
I think it's more just that we go to any ground and we play our game. You know what that starting lineup is going to be, you know, bar any injuries, because we're taking the game to each team when we come and play. It's not like we were setting up like Spurs were, completely defensively, almost conceding before they'd, you know, stepped a foot on the pitch. We do not play like that anymore. And that is the most exciting thing for me personally, because we start games with such energy, such brightness, and we never drop our heads, which I feel like has been such a characteristic of Arsenal over the last couple of years, that we can concede a goal and we just, you know, we lose it. Whereas with this game, we rode our luck definitely a couple of times. And you know, going back to Ramsdale, he did have some important saves to make. He did have some heat to take out of the game. But we managed to get back on top, and I think that was the most important thing.
And just a quick one on keeping heads up. Zinchenko has been fantastic there, allowing Xhaka to actually push forward as well, right?
I've just loved watching him. And I think it's been difficult because there was a period, you know, at the start of the season where he was out. So we weren't actually getting to see this amazing player. We were all wounded because we didn't get Martinez. He went off to United and we were like, oh, you know, is Zinchenko second best? I think he's proving now that he was the right target for us. And he has just been magnificent down that left side. He's been a joy to watch. He slips into midfield, you know, he gives us that midfield overload, and I've just loved watching him, and I cannot wait to see, you know, how he kicks on for the rest of the season.
Fantastic. Well, there's a little word in Yoruba. I know we've got some Nigerian viewers saying jeje, just calm, man. I don't want too much hype about Arsenal right now. Let's just see what happens. Well, earlier this week I caught up with Bukayo Saka, and we talked retro kit from Arsenal.
I love that. I love that little tag team, Aya and Saka, man. I'm talking kits as well. That's my forte. That's my thing. I love that. Now, guys, we've got to talk about Man City Spurs. Crazy game, crazy comeback. But did you guys see Pep's reaction to the game? Check this out.
I just explained the reality that everything is so comfortable. And opponents don't wait. The opponents are there. You tell me, Pep, how bad? No, we're second in the league.
No, yeah.
So we are not 20 points behind.
But you're not happy. It's not my questions, is it? You're not happy with your players.
Of course I'm not. I don't recognize my team. My team always had passion, have desire in everyone, and run and everything. And
obviously you've told all this to them as well in the dressing room.
I'm going to tell you what I said.
Come on, tell us. What you can...
No, absolutely not. Okay.
No? Okay, all right.
He went too far.
You got to try that. Fair play for trying.
I don't recognise my team. That's a serious statement.
When you think that the players might have been a little bit relaxed, all right? Last game of last season, 2 goals behind against Aston Villa, they come back and win the game. They win the league on the back of that. 3-1 down against Newcastle earlier this season, they come back and get a point. 2 goals down against Tottenham, obviously, in this game. 2 goals down against Crystal Palace, they come back and win the game. Maybe the players are thinking, 1 goal, 2 goals.
Give myself a bit of a challenge. Yeah, maybe it is that.
But I think there's another thing why the players are a little bit relaxed, all right? And if you look at the starting 11 for yesterday, and more importantly, you look at the bench, right? Look at that bench available to Manchester City.
Yeah. That's
I reckon that team would have beaten Spurs as well, wouldn't it?
Phillips, Cancelo, Laporte, De Bruyne, Silva and Foden. I actually would go as far as saying, goalkeeper aside, every single one of those substitutes starts for every other Premier League club. Discuss.
Maybe not Phillips.
Calvin Phillips is the one.
It's the one, but he's still a great player.
Yeah.
But apart from him, you're right.
Yeah.
All of them start for the team. Foden, Silva, De Bruyne, they all start for the Premier League team.
So
what do you think? They think they go, okay, let's give a team a chance and then we'll see what we can do.
We'll just take it away from them after 18 minutes of the second half.
I mean,
De Bruyne didn't even come on.
You look at that and you say, wow, if you're on the pitch, listen, we've just got those guys to come on afterwards.
I just don't think they worry. I don't think they worry if they go 1-0 down or 2-0 down because they got the thing about City, they're going to create something.
Having said that, against Southampton in the League Cup, they went 2-0 down and didn't create anything and didn't even look like coming back. But in the Premier League, I think this is there. They know they're now chasing Arsenal, so they have to be. And to be fair, Pep's half-time team
I've never
obviously
seen Pep
worked.
like that, like dig out his team like that, where it's like
He was
It's
angry.
like, man said, I don't recognise my team. Like, we're second. I can't even think about this.
Sometimes a little bit of mind games there, but he's a magician. Okay, now as we...
Ramparat, a sports broadcaster based over in Jamaica. Mariah, great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. We'll keep with the theme of Erling Haaland because we know how good he is at putting the ball in the back of the net, but he's also fancies himself as a bit of a model. Have you seen these pictures of this photo shoot he did recently?
Well, yeah, I did. And of course, it made my morning because I actually woke up to that tweet. Erling Haaland, somebody who classes himself as extremely fancy. But I have to say, when I saw these photos in the British GQ magazine, I was confused because most times when we see Erling Haaland, his hair is actually tied up in a bun. So for a moment, I didn't recognize him. But I mean, he has a way in fashion.
I'm not going to get into the whole hair conversation because it'd be a little bit unfair. A little bit unfair of me. The Premier League, as we know, is massive in Jamaica. And what's the feeling on the ground about Arsenal being so far ahead at this stage?
Well, Jamaica has a lot of Arsenal fans. The Caribbean on the whole, we have a lot of Arsenal fans. And what I noticed with the Arsenal fans is that, they're keeping quiet. They're happy that their form is up to par. They're happy that they're being seen as hot favourites. But Arsenal fans, I want to say, are different from Manchester United fans. I feel like when Manchester United fans are winning, they let you know that they're winning. But Arsenal fans are saying to me, and I had a couple of them that I spoke to recently, we're just sitting down and waiting to see what's happening because, with Arsenal, in a flip of a switch, Arsenal can, start dropping points. So they're sitting easy, resting assured, and hoping that the form can continue.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy game Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. What do you think United's chances are without Casemiro?
Well, I think initially with Casemiro, United had a good chance. However, I'd have to quote Eric Ten Hag. He said, "We've beaten Arsenal without Casemiro, and I think we can do it again." Personally, I think it's going to be tough for them, and Arsenal would be extremely happy. After that match when he was booked, the Arsenal fans, were overjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Arsenal fans will really fancy themselves in this one. There's another huge game, and usually, Mariah, we talk about this as potentially being a title decider, or it was years ago. How far these two teams have fallen, my team and Jay's team, Liverpool, Chelsea. It's still a huge game, though, isn't it?
Is it really? Because now everybody's just talking about Arsenal and Manchester United. So much so, like I play FPL and, I'm so passionate about it because I'm the only woman playing in my office. I'm the only one on the FPL side. And I have no Liverpool or Chelsea players because I feel like both teams continue to disappoint. Of course, I had them initially, transfer them out. So I feel like, yes, we're looking forward to see who will do well, but there isn't the buzz, there is not the excitement as there used to be.
I think the interesting thing on that fixture is that even though we don't expect either of those two teams to win the league, I don't think anyone here would be surprised if any one of those two teams end up in the top four. So
still such a long way to go. It's still big, isn't it?
Yes, and we almost feel as whoever loses that game are going to find it very difficult to get into the top four. So there's a lot of interest on that point. Mariah, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you.
Take care.
See you later.
Now, guys, Everton Southampton.
It was a big game last weekend, wasn't it?
Big game. Yeah. Did you guys see the tweet, though?
I saw the tweet.
The tweet's brilliant. Okay. So the context of this is that some Everton fans went to try and wake up the Southampton party.
I rate that though. By any means necessary.
And they
we're struggling.
And they tried to do it. They tried to do it by setting off fireworks. So after the win, Southampton as a football club went and done a review on the hotel, which I thought was absolutely hilarious because, they say those who laugh last laugh the longest. The rooms were brilliant. The beds were incredibly comfy. But the best line, of course, in fact, the only rocket we noticed all weekend referencing the fireworks was the one that James Ward-Prowse sent into the net in the 78th minute at Goodison. We'll definitely be returning again.
That is a violation.
That's very
Meaning, no matter what you did to me, that's the only rocket that mattered.
That's very, very, very
Absolutely good. Fantastic.
Very good.
Okay, before we have a quick break, round one of the quiz is upon us.